and tear it all back apart so we can install our upgrade kit. Everything like this for now while we open this up and take a look. So DNA Designs makes what is considered to be the best upgrade kits for Transformers figures. So with this, we get a whole new set of legs, which are longer. It also includes, in a lot of the comics and later versions of Ultra Magnus, he tends to come with a large hammer or axe, and this includes them, which is, you know, it's fun. Get a couple more weapons. I think that helps flesh out his, you know, his appearance as a large and in-charge robot. B, knock the thing over. Let's flip out these ankles. So he has the same ankle design, or sorry, heel design, which allows him to keep from falling over, which is great. We're back in robot mode. And now we'll do a comparison of his legs in each form. So you'll be able to see side by side just how different the height on these legs are. So as you can tell, each leg is noticeably longer, which much nicer. They're designed a bit different. They actually look a bit more complicated and more interesting, in my opinion. There's a level of detail that DNA does where they'll take the initial design of the toy itself that they're working with and bring that detail over into their upgrade. And that just, I think it just works. You still have knee swivel with the legs, which is great. What we are going to do is take off his leg at the hip. As you can see here, these are actually just slid on. There's no screw assembly to hold them on. They're just slid on. It's a very tight fit, and in most cases, you'll never accidentally take these off while using the figure. There are a couple figures I have where the joints can be kind of loose for doing that, but for the most part, I've never actually had a problem with these accidentally coming off. There's a fair amount of force you have to put in to hey B, Lieutenant Optimus, you ain't got no legs.
So when you were telling me about that, I kind of thought they were like just like chess pieces that like went on there or something. I didn't realize it was like replacing entire parts.
Replacing entire parts. So I'm literally just going to have these leftover legs.
Yeah, that's amazing.
Yeah, and with how many times they've used this mold, I've bought like 5 of these upgrade kits. So I'm going to have 5 pairs of these legs just sitting around doing nothing. But, you know, who knows? I could use them for a battle scene or something. Okay, so let's slide that new leg on. If only leg transplants were this easy in real life. It's a bit more force to get on there than it was to take it off. Which I'm fine with. I mean, I'd rather it be on there securely than having it, you know, somehow pop off. Man, that last part, that last little oomph. Get on there. There we go. That's tight. That's tight. You know what? Let's have each of his legs on, just to get a more accurate look at the distance between the feet. Like, look how much longer that is in comparison to what he was using before. Like, that is a marketable difference. I really like the chrome detail that they've put on the legs. I mean, it's more detailed than the rest of the figure, which is kind of sad. A little sad, maybe. But I like it. So let's take that off. We'll put the other leg on. We'll get him to his true glory. Oh, there we go. You got a good pop on there. The only way this could be better is if they somehow made the arms just slightly longer. Slightly. I don't think it should be much, but no, I think the arms are fine. Okay. Now there is a trick to these new legs. I'm gonna have to learn what that trick is, because right now I don't know. You got some good bend. You got a good ratchet thing going on. So the knee has its own little knee pad, which you can tell when it's going into truck mode, this flips down and it fills that in, which is great. That's nice. It's a good thing to have. Okay. Now this doesn't look that great. When you fold it down, there is a very noticeable split here in the knee that I'm not crazy about, but if I'm going to be displaying him in robot mode most of the time, it's not something I'm going to notice. Let's see if the other side has it pretty bad too, but that's not the end of the world. Let's see if his posability changes at all. Oh, and let's try out his new weapons. Hammer for hammer time. Another reference no one younger than us will get. Pull that out. You got an axe. And I mean, he's ready to go medieval on your ass with these things. The hammer I'm not crazy about because of how thin the shaft on the hammer is. I think it looks kind of comical. Plus, it's the exact same color as the rest of his body, so it just seems, I feel like that could have looked, that could have been better. The axe I think is fine. The axe is an axe. I guess I'm just not much for robots with hammers. What do you think, B? Like the hammer I'm not crazy about, but I think the axe looks great. It does look like a Smash Bros. Weapon. Not as crazy about that, but let's get some poses in here. Okay, bend at the knee. Maybe we can do a on one knee pose. So we can pull that off. Not particularly, but it's not a super common pose these guys can pull off anyway. Like he's proposing to Alita 1. Of course, that's his brother's girl. You don't do that. Back of the leg design, once again, they've added that shiny chrome paint, and I think that looks great. There is a noticeable design difference between the legs and the rest of the body just in terms of quality that I think is pretty noticeable, but from far away, I don't think you're going to notice it as much. Okay. Let me just check the instructions just in case for when I transform these legs. See if there's any kind of... Okay. Yeah, that is a notable change to the leg transformation, which is actually really interesting. The one thing I do need to do is I do have to take the wheels off of the legs and use those for the wheels on his new legs, which isn't a difficult thing to do. These should come off fairly easily. Fairly easily, I said. There we go. Yeah, as you can see, they're just those pressure. So, see, it's hard to get good lighting for a piece this small, but yeah, as you can see, it's literally just pressure held in there. Random fact I learned this week. Jeffrey Dean Morgan and Paul Rudd own a candy shop together in New York. Yeah, just an interesting fact I learned this week. They apparently knew the owner. So when he passed away, they didn't want the shop to get turned into some like smoothie stand or something. So they bought the shop and kept the candy shop. And I think that's pretty darn swell. Look at the design here on the inner on just this joint here to this joint as you use this leg. Like, that is far more intricate than this, honestly, than this figure deserves. But I'm here for it. I am here for it. Okay. Let's take these out. Oh, right. Let's throw his armor back on him. See how he looks with his with the armor on his new legs. Actually, while we still partially have it in truck mode, let's turn him back into a truck. Well, when you start, we still have the trailer in truck mode. Turn this guy back around. Now, I'm actually going to go ahead and throw the gauntlets on now for the Gauntlet Fix. Because with this, I want to see, with the upgrades done, how noticeable of a difference he is this way. This will slide out and down like that. And then this panel goes out like that. So now you've got leg looking a bit more open, open concept. And then this, the inner part of the leg is going to slide into the inner part of the calf. So it collapses in like that. I was actually wrong. When he's displayed in robot mode, that isn't the knee pad. That is supposed to come down and actually cover the front of the leg. So we will see that noticeable gap there, which I'm not crazy about that, but maybe with some paint I could fill that in. That's a possibility. I mean, I'm already going so far as to upgrade parts on it. I guess I could take it a step further. Okay, that does actually fold in a bit more. And as you can see here, this tab goes into the back of the knee. So now that's all closed up. Pop that heel down, bring the leg back, and then this wheel goes like that. And then this part becomes the wheel that is there. And I think that looks pretty good. I mean, it's got another screw there. I've never really minded visible screws on my Transformers. It's never something that's really taken me out of it that much. But in terms of just the way that folds up, I think that looks pretty good. So we'll repeat the same action here. Fold the knee up, fold the heel up. Pop that piece out because it's sitting on this tab right there. Then we fold the whole, put out like that, fold that down. And then we're going to slide. Let's see the best way to display it. Slide that into itself. Then you have to use a little bit of force once it's in there to get it to finish collapsing. Like me after a bender. Okay. And close that. Legs folded up. Oh, what's kind of nice is with this upgraded version, there is right here on the inside of the leg, there are these inside of the hip, there are these tabs right here. And this does take advantage of it with that spot on the inside of the leg. So those will line up, and then that will keep these legs in place, keep them from folding down in that mode. So we've now got him in cab mode with the Gauntlet Fix. It's a thing. I think even just as a truck, I can handle that a bit better. It looks silly, but it is a robot that turns into a truck. I'm not, fooling myself with illusions of grandeur. Okay. Make sure the shoulder pieces are slid together properly. And see if that socket's on there the same way. And it does. That is tighter than the official piece, which I'm all for. That's not going to come off as easily as the other one. I'm all for that. That's great. The other one comes off a smidge too easy. So let me take the back of the assembly here, and we're going to fold these pieces into it. I'll clip these thighs on. This clip is just as tough as the normal Hasbro one, but if the point is it's not going to come off easily, that's great. Good. It sucks when these things fall apart when you're trying to display them or move them. So that's great. So the legs, because of it, it actually hangs, because the legs are longer, I thought that this would So because the legs were longer, I thought that this would create a larger gap, but because of the way these legs accordion back into themselves, when they accordion back in, this is the height of the normal leg. So this does a really good job of keeping that length in truck mode. So with the Gauntlet Fix, obviously that's still kind of hanging out at a weird angle. I'm not crazy about it. If there's another way to like stabilize these or make that flatter, I don't know, but this could give me an idea. This gives me an idea of basically just a piece we could print just to cover up the fists. I think if I did that though, I would actually keep it the same color as the rest of the truck. Maybe, I don't know. There could be something we practice with. But in terms of the way that turns out with the upgrade kit, I don't mind it. I don't mind it. At the end of the day, it kind of sucks that I had to get an upgrade kit to fix the scaling issue to make the figure taller, but that's really a preference thing for me. No part of the upgrade kit actually corrected the most abysmal part of this figure. That was literally just rearranging the existing pieces. So you could still use this figure just fine without the upgrade kit, and you'd get along marvelously. Let's see if these new weapons have a hiding place on this. X bits fold either way. So there is a peg hole there. And this flips this way. Same peg hole, opposite side. So if you do that, you've then got that. It almost like, this almost looks like some kind of like rocket thing, like a thruster randomly sticking on the side. Like this looks like it's a Mad Max thing, like you're gonna cut someone on the side. I don't know. Maybe there's another peg hole up top. So if you did it like that, but obviously you're blocking the gun, unless you're just keeping the gun up here for storage, or you could switch places. You could move the gun up to the front and then store the axe at the back, but then it kind of, you've got it hanging off the back a little bit, and these don't store as well. You know, there's probably a way to actually store these inside the gap better. But between you and me, I really don't see myself using this part of the upgrade kit. It's nice that they gave it to you. Options are great. I have no complaint against options. The more options, the better. There's going to be someone out there that absolutely loves these things. And you know what? These might actually work better with a different figure I have. I don't know yet. But at the end of the day, Kingdom Ultra Magnus works in his own way. And I dig it. I dig it. Take these things back off. Let's go this way. But yeah. I would say this figure, if you're a diehard Ultra Magnus fan like I am, and you don't want to shell out the stupid amount of money for a masterpiece, and honestly, I still think this is better than the Combiner Wars Ultra Magnus they put out a few years ago. Now, the perfect grade upgrade, I think perfect grade upgrade kits that they did for Combiner Wars Ultra Magnus that actually adds an entire cab robot for it, is definitely, it is nice. With all those upgrades, it's great. But just on its own, I like this more than the Combiner Wars Ultra Magnus. But Combiner Wars Ultra Magnus is more accurate if you wanted an IDW Ultra Magnus. But this is a definitely more G1 inspired Ultra Magnus, and I'm all for it. Autobots, roll out! This has been Ty with High Anxiety. Sorry. This has been Brandon with High Anxiety. And, no, Brandon's over there. But, no, this is Ty with High Anxiety. And thank you for watching and supporting us during this time. We really appreciate it. And if you like these Transformer reviews, give us a comment down below. Have a good one. It's the ultimate splits.